more than what we do at the moment.
Because our normal has become being lied to. And it's not by choice. It's what the ones in charge think we can't handle the truth. Much like Jack Nicholson, you can't handle the truth.
But we can also choose who's going to be in charge of us. But I agree with you, Hans. I know what you're saying. No, it's just interesting, that it is what it is as opposed to what it could be. But maybe that's the whole point of it is that we have to see the contrast of it. So we see what it is. And then because we choose what we choose, in different ways, with those choices, some of us manage to get, as Jesse said, that glimpse in the beginning. And once you get that, it keeps on pulling you in. And then I remember that I'm living in a dimension of contrast, and I can only make up my stories because of that dimension in some ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's the contrast which is important.
Mm.
It doesn't mean like as it is. It's like the way things are, the way that I see them to be. Is is to look at what am I putting on it? What am I making up as it is? And looking for just the true, just the essence, like just what it is without anything else I've made up.
Mm.
And that we think that truth should be easy.
Mm-hmm.
But also in the contrast, there could be conflict.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of static.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, I mentioned can we handle the truth because I watched a podcast and this lady, she had a strong desire of awaken and she decided to I think she went to Costa Rica and she did like ayahuasca. I think it was like 3 days or something. And things open up for sure for her. And although like she had an idea what she's gonna see, when she had the experience of it, she got scared.
Oh yeah. No, it's a massive, massive, massive big thing. It's no small. I don't even have a noun for it. Or verb.
And it doesn't mean like ayahuasca is wrong, right?
No, not at all.
If you're ready, you're ready, right? Like, and
Mm.
she thought she was ready, and she
Mm.
might do it again. You know, maybe she'll be able to handle it better. But now she no longer have a belief. She
Mm.
knows.
Mm.
Fascinating to just think of what fear is.
Mm. Maybe it's possible. It's seeing the possibility of your structure being totally dismantled. It's an anticipatory fear of it. Which means enormous, enormous loss. And complete disorientation.
Because in the fear, we are calling it what it is.
Mm-hmm. And yet maybe that's also our story on top of what is.
Yes, always.
Mm.
And all we want to do is open it up so that we can see it for something else.
Yeah, and maybe in our languaging that would entail seeing the other side of it too.
Mhm. That always opens the most space.
Mm. For sure.
Or better has the potential to.
Mm. Mm.
Compared to just stepping over, or like the fear of just letting it play its automatic pattern.
Mm.
I'm not saying fear isn't necessary. Not saying it isn't warranted. I'm just looking in places where it isn't warranted.
Mm. And also where it is warranted, what can be added to help? So that it's not just that.
Yeah. So such complexities.
Mm.
Morning, Central.
Morning, Syndrome.
Good morning, Allison. Hi,
Morning,
Jesse.
Cinderella.
Hi, Hines. Hi, Pascal.
Good morning, Cinderella.
Good morning, host of the mostest. Hey,
Mm. I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here. I missed you. I was like yesterday. It was so much bountifulness happening yesterday.
Mm.
I've been missing for like 2 days. I mean, it's just a lot going on.
That's great.
Yeah, that's
Bring
what
it
I'm
back
gonna
here.
claim it as great.
No, it is. It's wonderful.
Yeah. What y'all doing?
Oh, you would love this. That's why I said I'm glad you can. Jesse was talking about how awareness is the key to being able to see truth with a capital T. And we were all giving our little bits of our realization of why, as things are at the moment for us, it is so. Now I'm putting a story on it. So, how do I do this? How we are not able to be in that space continually. So, we get glimpses of truth.
Mhm. I feel that.
Mm.
What I feel from that is like we get the awareness, and then that awareness like peels back or grows up some truth in us that maybe we thought we could almost feel like we've been denying it the whole time, or it's been obscure. And then we can't stay in that state of awareness continuously because we have to like walk out that truth that we've come to be aware of, to really vet that truth to be true.
You got such a good way with words sometimes. Not sometimes, most of the time, sorry.
I'm in that stage now. It's like, okay, if that's true, then I can do, then these are my actions that I'm going to do based on this awareness, based on this truth.
Yeah. And that's the next step, right?
Yeah.
Unless,
Go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
sorry, Sandra. No, go ahead.
It's a lot of energy here. I wait to you.
Oh, it's gone. It wasn't anything that connected anything more. Maybe it was just a part of resistance. That's what's gone.
Yeah, so on the same podcast I was watching,
Tell her, Pascal,
like,
sorry.
yeah.
Tell Sandra what you told us.
So this lady, she's interviewing the last living being of the Monroe Institute. And so like the Monroe Institute, like I don't know, do you know a little bit of story about the Monroe Institute? Or
No, I don't think I do.
Me
yeah,
neither.
it has something to do with out of body experience and the CIA.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And so like yeah, they were doing like a lot of research and like the remote viewing and all that stuff. And this gentleman, well, this lady, she was interviewing him, and she said that like she had a strong desire to open, like to waken up. That's how she put it. And then so she decided to go to Costa Rica, I believe, to do a ayahuasca retreat. And she had this idea of what she's going to be seeing, because from other people and like their experience and all that. And when she took this brew, she saw something completely different, and she got scared of it. And this guy was like, because like, he had like a lot of out body experience and stuff, and then it came back to what you were saying. So people that do have those experience, he says, now what? Now that you know, it's not a belief. Now you know that you're not your physical body. Now what? What you gonna do with it? Right? So that comes back to what you're saying, that like, now you know some truth. Now you apply it. You tell people, whatever you want to do with it, right? Or you keep it for yourself. Oh, it's all up to you.
Wow.
That's where the being comes in. Right? So
Yeah.
you have this experience. And like he says, so now what do you want to do with it?
And you almost, I mean, like, you can bury your head in the sand, but then it's like you're regurgitating your own vomit, because even what was good before will never have the same good impact when you deny yourself the advancement of the undeniable element of curiosity.
Mm. Mm-hmm. It's like your priorities change, right? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Am I saying that?
I don't know. That's what I heard.
Why are your priorities changing? I think your priorities are challenged, whether you change your priorities or not. Again,
Yeah.
I mean, it's based on what you do with the information.
Yeah. So it's all those little layers that you always talk about, right? That we've got to break through in a way.
Excuse me, sorry, guys. Like, so I've come into an awareness of a pattern that has made itself familiar with me, and I've acknowledged it to be familiar with it. But now that pattern is no longer acceptable. Acceptable is too strong at the moment. Is no longer palatable. Like
Congratulations.
Is it? Everything's like, wow. Now what you gonna do with that? But it's the courage to ask the questions also, of yourself.
Yeah.
And the courage to stay in the answer.
Can you repeat that, Jesse?
And the courage to stay in the answers.
Yeah. And so I hear, feel that fear thou not. Because I haven't given you the spirit of fear. So why you keep feeding yourself fear? I haven't given you the spirit of fear. Fear's there. But it's like McDonald's fries. You just keep eating them because it's addicting and it's familiar and it's convenient. Fear's convenient.
Yes. Going for what's comfortable.
It's a good excuse.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's comfortable, yes. But
So what do we
sometimes
do
it's
if we
just
go?
familiar.
Yeah. So I think that's where one would bring in awareness, right? And the importance of awareness.
And we breathe. We breathe the
Sorry,
fear.
we feed the fear, yeah.
No, we breathe. Breathe the fear.
We breathe the fear.
Breathe it out. Breathe it out.
Ooh, I heard that two ways. We breathe it.
Yes, me
and
too.
I also heard we breathe it. Because whatever we are, we create the garden for it to multiply.
And I like what you brought, Pascal, with the breath, because you can breathe in fear and you can breathe it out.
Yeah, that's real good.
And there's a gap between the in breath and the out breath, and there's that gap again.
Is it the gap?
Always look for the gap. Sorry, Sundar.
Is it a gap of this decision or all possibility? Is that the space where we create?
Yes, where it can be anything.
Yeah.
It appears so small, but it's significantly infinity. The universe in a grain of sand.
So you say it could be anything. Right now, I'm calling it the space of creation, the decisional space of creation.
And how do you create space?
It's already
I
there.
think that's right. You have to have the awareness, though, to grab it, right? To sit in it.
Wow.
You see it for what it is. And what do you want? The contrast, also known as tension, is what creates the outcomes. We're always doing it, continually doing it, automatically doing it.
And to do it consciously is
Yeah, bingo. That's the added boost.
Mm.
Consciously, intentionally, purposefully, peacefully. There's all sorts of ways. But
Mm.
which way are you doing it?
One step at a time.
Hans, as you said that, I thought, oh my God, I go one step, then two steps backwards.
Yeah, but that's the next one.
That means you're dancing. That means you're dancing.
Thanks, Pascal.
And I used to think of taking one step forward, two steps backwards was not good. But how do you reflect and learn from the step that you took?
Oh, Sandel, you are so forgiving. That's a really good way of looking at it.
It's the judge in us that beats us up for the steps that we take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the notion of dancing.
Yes. Put some music to that, man.
The only one you can truly fail is by not moving at all. Then you don't get any
Sorry.
movement. The only way you can truly fail is by not moving at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That would be a real waste of the gift of life.
Forward and backward is only a perspective, but it's still motion.
Yeah. And it's funny, yesterday I had some time standing in queues and driving, and so that's often when I sit and do some reflection in myself. And I was thinking exactly of this: one step forward and two steps backwards. And what I thought was that sometimes by going backwards, that first or that step that we managed to take forward, it pulls us, and then when we take that next step forward, it's a bigger one than the first one that we took. And then eventually the back steps get smaller as well. And the forward steps just keep on increasing.
It reminds me of a stitch in sewing. You put the needle forward, but underneath you go backward to complete it.
And to secure it, right?
To secure the learning, to secure an anchor. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. Because you thinking of
think of our caterpillar moves. Sorry, Sandel.
We're bubbling today, right? I love you. Go ahead, please.
Go with. Are you sure? Okay, so I was thinking of a caterpillar. You know how a caterpillar moves sometimes, where it arches. So it's got its the segments. Some of the segments stand still, and then it kind of arches its back, and then oh God, I can't even think now how it moves, but
So
it
so it
it
squinches. It squinches forward,
yeah
and then it stretches out forward. But when in its
yeah
squinching, the front kind of comes back in order to solidify its ability to have something to push forward.
yeah
Inchworm. But it's part of the process to strengthen, to advance.
mm,
So I was thinking of kids that go to school and they just sit in the classroom the whole year. And at the end of the year, like,
mm,
what did they get out of it, right? And if they haven't gotten enough to demonstrate that they've gotten enough, then they just sit where they were for another year.
mm.
They got school.
They got lunch.
I got to learn how when the bell rings, it's free time.
Mm.
Doing and being school.
Mm.
It definitely has a consequence,
Mm.
like as all learnings do.
Yeah, what they're learning is what somebody else told them.
What they get out of it is based on what they put into it to get something out of it. Because then they can decide and test truths that are their truths based on their current circumstances. But here's the scary part. As adults, we no longer have a year of school to prove or whatever. And many years can go by and we wonder what happened to the years. Did we get out of it what we wanted? Did we put into it to create? So don't get mad if you go into the counter and you're still eating mush mashed potatoes and whatever that thing is they call a hamburger for lunch. Am I satisfied with life? Am I satisfied with my living? Am I satisfied with the experiences I created last year to this year? Will I be satisfied with the things that I've created, if I created or not? Okay, here's one for the aside. So I was on this dating app, and I just like practice asking questions. Curious mind wants to know. So I asked a gentleman, I'll give him that.
I'll give you the title of gentleman.
What you say?
I'll give him the title of gentleman. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, right?
Yeah, exactly. I asked him, I said, so what are your major accomplishments that you're proud of, regardless of anybody else's opinion? And I could not believe his answer. He said, I really don't have any accomplishments. I said, what? To myself. You really answered that you don't have any accomplishments? All of this is going on in my head. So I was like, okay, be still, Cinderella, be still. So then I said, well, what is your vision for you for the future? You know, like for the next 3 years, what do you desire or want? And he says, I just want to live every day peacefully. So I was like, okay, I can't be mad at that. But it just went flat for me. It's just like he's, and if he's peaceful, I had to watch myself not judging him, because what am I looking for? I'm looking for, that excitement for life, that exhilaration, creation, well, I've done this and now I want to do this, and it wasn't there. And I was like, okay, delete conversation. It wasn't a match. It just was not a match of any kind. Not to say he's wrong. It's just it wasn't my vibe.
When you think about it, people could answer that climbed Mount Everest. Why? So I could climb back down again. What's the reason to climb Mount Everest? It's a killer. Everything above 6,000 meters, you're dying.
Yeah, but it is a physical challenge. It is a mental challenge.
Yeah, but what's the reason?
Why ride a bike? Why get in the car? Why get up
to
the
go anywhere when you have to go home again?
The experience. You want to have experiences, don't you?
I think I would stick with the answer he said. I would like to have a peaceful life. I like that answer.
Yeah, I get the peace. I get the peace. But in the context of everything, what I was getting was he lives day to day. He's not established. He revealed that, Oh, here's what it was. He said he was in a long-term relationship that ended 8 months ago. The relationship was 27 years, and the woman was 18 years older than him. And so the whole thing was, considerable parameters of life, but I could be wrong, but it's like he didn't develop his own inner energy to pursue, to be a self-provider. And so he was working in a restaurant as a short order cook. So I was like, so what's next? Like, what's your rev? What drives you?
And he's like, I drive a Chevrolet.
Hey,
that's what drives me.
Yeah. But I didn't see any sense of accomplishment, any sense of, like, he said, you know what he said? He said, I never really thought about it. I was like, wow, okay. We're just on two different zones. Like, don't judge Sindrell. He's good. He's good where he is. And and he's probably good to be there in the next 10 years. He's good.
Yeah.
He stuck away from, he didn't go to the place where most people go to the thinking. Then she said, I really never thought about it.
Yeah, he never really thought about it. It's like, okay. Like, if I feel like I could be assuming, even, it doesn't even like what you want doesn't have to meet anybody's expectations, but is there a want there? Is there a drive there? I'm going to be bold and assume, if I ask any one of you, well, what's your thing? What gets you up every day? What's next for you? I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but you would have something from within you to answer to yourself about that.
It's that doing mentality. Need to do something. I don't need to do anything. I enjoy life as it is.
Cool. That's cool.
Sometimes I do the laundry. Sometimes people say, well, sounds kind of boring. Well, it depends on your perspective.
Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm.
To me, climbing Mount Everest sounds kind of hard and pointless.
But what has a point for you that would not be pointless?
I would love to just work the land for my own purposes. See trees grow, enjoy having dirt underneath my fingernails and stuff like that.
See, you still, something still drives you.
But it's not something big like, whoa, I need to climb Mount Everest. No, I like simple.
Who says that isn't big? It's just as big as we could imagine climbing Mount Everest is. To have your feet in the soil, to grow things, to see the inchworm and the wonder in it, and notice the leaves, and clearing weeds, and tilling the
Oh.
land.
Doing it naturally, not with pesticides.
Mm-hmm.
See, you got a purpose, right? You're like purposefully doing it.
Mm.
That
Mhm.
comes
Yeah.
from within you.
Mm. Even just for me, even just being in the group, Heinz, and being here and contributing of yourself in the way that you do for me, it has a huge impact in a really
It's
good way. And
part of the
sorry, go
sorry.
ahead.
It's the best part of the day.
There you go. So, I mean, that's what I picked up. What Sandrell was looking for was what is that person's passion in terms of what they do. Like as they do things, where's that spark?
To me, these talks are sort of like campfire talk that they have in the old days,
Yes,
telling stories. And I like the old days when everything was way more simple.
but maybe it also wasn't.
Yeah, it had its own beauty. Like no, today we rely on electricity, running water, and stuff like that. I like to do everything myself.
Yeah, because that gives one time, right?
But the world don't really allow that anymore.
No.
The world is what we allow. What doesn't it allow? Tell me again. I
Oh, in Denmark, you must have a phone, or you can't get into your bank account or anything because you need to make an electronic signature to get in and everything. We've become so dependent on the electronics.
Yes.
And if you go to a bank today, banks don't have any money anymore. No, you have to go to an ATM if you need money. Then you need a card, and the card needs to be activated. Then you need a phone again. You can't do anything without a social security number. You can't do
Yeah.
anything in this world unless somebody at top knows exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right on that.
Yeah.
About 25 years ago, I lived in a different county, and my neighbor and I were, into herbs and, treating the kids holistically if they had colds and stuff like that. And we found a spring. It was it's like, oh man, this water is like, it was so crispy. The water was just shooting up out the ground, right? Continuously shooting up out the ground. And we would go there and fill our jugs. And other people would go there and fill their jugs. They shut that thing down. Like, no, you're not supposed to get fresh water from the earth. Okay. And now they said it could have been unhealthy. And now we got to go to the store, and you want me to buy water out of a jug that's plastic?
Yeah, that's their definition of healthy. They decide what's healthy and unhealthy.
That was some good water, man. That was some good water.
I remember my mom telling me that the water they had where she grew up, it had a reddish shine to it because of the iron in it.
Yes, it
But had that
glistened,
great,
right?
yeah, but she never had that great water. But somebody told them it was way too much iron, so they shut it down.
But they want you to go to the drugstore and buy iron capsules.
Yep.
That is not bioavailable for your body, right?
Yeah,
But it
you can
looks
only,
good, right? I'm taking my iron every day.
yeah, and only 10% of it actually goes into the body. The rest can't be absorbed because it's way too big molecules. Because it's chemically based.
The body doesn't recognize it, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. That's the way with all medicine. It's way too big for molecularly structured for a body compared to all medicines you find in nature. They're oil based, and oil has a so fine molecular base that you can actually absorb all of it. I saw a great one where they were talking about the 60s. They were talking about nuclear holocaust. The 70s, they were talking about the 80s. They were talking about, and every time we get to pay the taxes, but none of this stuff they were talking about ever happened. The ozone layer is still there. There's still water. There's still clean air. But the taxes haven't gone away. We still pay them. So somebody at top says, well, we got not enough of that, so we need to pay more taxes on that. There's a possibility for that within the next 10 years, so we need to pay more taxes to that. And compared to US, where you saw what they did at the Boston Tea Party for the taxes on tea, where people actually did something. Now we can't do anything about it. Taxes have become normalized. When we think about what food cost 20, 30, and 40 years ago, well, it has doubled, tripled over the last, what? So it's out of balance, everything. That's probably why I also like to get my own piece of land and just grow stuff myself.
Yeah, that way you know what you're eating, right?
Exactly.
Are you doing any growing now?
Not right now. I've been working on myself the last, what, 1.5 year. Ever since I moved to Aalborg, I've sort of just took a time to breathe, relax, and now I got my son to come visit after he turned 18 and sort of getting a motion that way, working with myself. releasing the pressure of you need to. But I just want to relax and be peaceful. Enjoy life while I'm here. I remember when my father went to Egypt on holiday, and I asked him, "How was your holiday?" "Oh, it was just a lot of sand and rocks." That was his definition. That wasn't a holiday to him. My dad's definition of a holiday, well, it means beach and beach umbrella and sun cream and just lying there. That's a holiday. We all have different ways of looking at it.
Yeah, that's why we're all different, right?
Yeah.
It's my definition of holiday is doing stuff, right?
Yeah, me too. Getting experiences.
Like visit things, like
Seeing
I
different.
can't lay on the beach for a week straight. Drive me nuts.
Exactly. Sunbathing. What's the point of it? If you people when you start talking, shh, I'm relaxing here. Oh my God, how boring. But again, that's perspective. I
But
would much rather.
if you're completely present, it's not boring.
Well, then people need to talk to me when I'm asking them stuff, not shh, shh.
Hey, I want to circle back on the big and small, big goals or small goals or, big ambition, that it's just a concept. And I'll tell you a story about yesterday. So I went for a dental cleaning, and then
Ooh.
don't expect anything out of it, right? Like just talking to the hygienist, and then one thing comes to the other, and she says she's got kids, and then we start talking about kids, and we start talking about school, and start talking about so many things. And then and on the back of my head, I'm like, I just want to serve her, right? Like, no matter what, like she says, like I'd like to serve her. And then she said something about, oh yeah, like I haven't been able to sit down very long period of time because I got sciatica. And then like a light bulb came on me, right? But not about like, oh, I got to do everything for you. I got to help you. I got to do this, go do that. But I felt inclined to just to share, about blocking therapy and stuff, and then show the website and like to me, if you ask me like, oh, what's your ambition in life or something like that, like I don't have anything big, you know, like in my eyes, it's not anything big. But then when you look back, you're just like, well, if she does the work, because like she can just like, oh yeah, that looks interesting, but no, I don't think it's for me. I'd rather go like to a chiropractor or a physiotherapist and going through that endless loop of fixing and fixing and fixing and then like maybe not getting any results. So, but for me, like I'm like, yeah, I give like it was small for me, right? Like I share like for like 5 minutes and then but it can have a huge impact,
Yeah.
Right. So maybe this guy, like that you're talking, Sindrel, maybe like doesn't have big ambition, but for him, like you won't say because like he thinks it's ridiculous of just like going to the store and smile at someone that like maybe like that wants to kill themselves, but just because like that person had the smile on, like oh well, there's life here, right? Like there's something here.
Mhm.
And we have this perception of like, oh yeah, we have to have like big goals, big stuff, and then we think, well, one thing is big and one thing is small, and but it's just a concept, right? And like your big stuff might be my small stuff, and vice versa, right? Like,
True. I
I would say
agree.
that guy who goes to the store and brings a smile to somebody's lips has done more than climb Mount Everest. His personal achievement of bringing a smile to another is sharing with the world. The other is just doing something for yourself.
No.
and also it doesn't mean like, well, like now that I see this perception, oh, maybe I'll give him a shot, like, no, not at all, right? Like it's just like if it doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't resonate with you, right? Like,
But what was good was I enjoyed the contrast of me being aware that it did not resonate with me. It doesn't have to, I don't have to approve or disapprove anything, but something can be good and still not, and I see it as good, but it not resonate with me, or I could see it as bad. Either way, it doesn't resonate with me. Like I don't have to get on every ride at the carnival,
no, no.
So
Some make you sick.
Some people like to tend to the ground and make great grass. Other people like to play football on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make one less right than the other.
True. But even while I was sharing, I was being aware, that not to it was still in my best interest and in their best interest of me that I I just I just didn't have to spend a lot of time on that. Like I could filter through and feel the energy of resident of what was there. And I was like, okay, no thank you. I think that is just as important too.
Yep. We need somebody we resonate with. It makes life more that we can, if we want a partner to share stuff with, then we share walking Mount Everest together if that's what we enjoy.
Right.
And it's also good that he was honest.
True.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe like he was like, well, what I'm really into, I know like most girls, they usually shut me down, Like maybe like his passion is like collecting like G.I. Joe. I don't know, right?
Then
And that's his
would you say
passion.
that if someone asked you, well, what's your passion? Man, I love collecting rocks. Really? What do
Right.
you do? But there was
Come in my backyard. I got variety.
right. Which is something I happen to do. I do see rocks that catch my eye, and I collect rocks. I have a jacket that I keep. This one jacket that I keep this smooth stone in. I just connect to it.
everything has its own kind of energy. It's what energy resonates with you.
Yeah.
I've seen some people who collected rocks, like you said, and they use every rock in their garden. They're not about growing a lot of pretty flowers. It's more about the rocks that surround the flowers.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks great. With all sort of special shapes and colors and everything. You can make patterns and everything. So I picked someone, I don't know where he was from, but he went out into the forest and picked up leaves and bark and stuff like that. And he made the most beautiful creations with it. A dragon, a tiger, and everything. And he just started with 2 small sticks. And then leaves and bark. And you could see the bark becoming the scales on the dragon. A rock becoming an eye. And he wasn't doing anything to the nature that actually wasn't there. He was just moving around what was lying there.
Mm-hmm.
In Norway, I remember every time we got to the top of a mountain, or it wasn't, well, it is a mountain, it's 2,000 meters or something like that. You could find a stack of rocks standing on top of each other, and then you put your rock upon the others. Sort of like writing, I was here, without doing anything that harmed nature. Because when we think about it, in what, 100 years, if you haven't left anything on top of Mount Everest, how would people ever know you've been there?
I haven't been there yet. We're all pretending we have.
Mhm.
Sneaky. We are sneaky.
Yeah, and all the people who are written down that they've been to the top, well, they haven't written down how many times those carriers that helped them get up there have been there. It's their job to walk to the top of Mount Everest. They do it 2, 3 times a year.
Yeah, so how come
They do
that's not cooler?
And what
Yeah.
It's
about the
their
people
job. It's their
that astral
job.
travel
They're
there?
cool. It's a job.
That's
The other
right.
pays $50,000 to get there. Then they get paid to be there.
Exactly. It's like everyone, a football team, right? Everyone, oh, that quarterback salary, right? And really it's the owners that are paying the bill. It's like, oh, no, I respect the owners that have the money to pay that.
Yep. And who pays the owner? We do,
Yeah,
for
no, yeah.
going in and watching the quarterback play.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it circles all the way back to, like as it is, right? As it is, and then as it is, everything that we attach to it. And noticing like our fighter, like the fight in us or the judger in us always looks at it a certain way.
And they always talk about what a great game it was. They don't talk about amazing. That ball could stand that much punishment through the whole game. People never talk about the one who actually made the things they are doing it with. The balls, the bats, whatever. They don't get any appreciation that way. Imagine a baseball lasting 9 innings. The punishment that baseball is put through.
Think of it as like as it is it's just information to be like, oh, and the best I can strip it down to just what is it, like what is there, and look at what I make up, because there's patterns in what I make up that can help me shortcut. As it is, right? We talked about as it is. It's like, oh, ambitions, they need to be bigger. Or it's like Pascal in the moment's like, no, it's just being of service, sharing some knowledge. Part of my pattern is seeking information so that when in the moment, I can help someone with information. Now, we can tend to judge ourselves whether they found the information important or valuable, or we expect that we change their lives or their life. And it's like, see, that's making it more than what it is.
When I was younger, somebody asked me about weed, and I told him, if it doesn't do anything that helps you anyway, I don't think you should do it. And that I used 5 minutes of my life on it, and then 30 or 40 years later, my mom told me, well, she's been living her life teaching her kids exactly from those 5 minutes what I told her. So she based her life upon what she thought about weed compared to what I told her. I didn't expect that from giving a 5 minute lecture. And it could be next time you get to go to the dentist or what it was, and they say, I've been doing that blogging now for the last half year, and oh my God, it's done wonders. And that person really got a lot from that half hour you've been talking to them.
Yeah, we never know till after the fact, and we may never know.
Exactly. Why do we need to know?
That's the real question. What? Because there's a pattern inside of us that wants to know. And it's like, I don't know what you call it, but for me, it's the prover.
Yep. That's what I tell my son always. You need somebody to pat you on the back and say, oh, what a great job you've done and stuff like that. But does it change what you've done?
Nope.
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 So it's about the action, not about what other people think about your action. It's your ego that wants to get confirmed by the world outside.
Yep. That's exactly. Yep.
And it's about what you experience in doing that action. What does that action bring you?
And I think it's a personal satisfaction, because lots of people have told him, well, you can't do that, you can't do that. Well, then he wants to prove, look, I did it. Well, it doesn't change anything. It's about the personal satisfaction of doing it.
Yeah.
It's the road, not the goal.
So you
What?
see, you can see how we learn inefficiently, like we learn from failure.
Yep.
I mean, we think about that like that. There is no right answer if we learn everything from failure.
No, that's just experience.
Doesn't change that there's fear there.
Mm.
And if you didn't do it the wrong way, a lot of times, well, you wouldn't have known what the right way would look like.
That's right. Yep. And all of that is shaped how things appear, how they are.
And how we see them.
And that's all it is like there's that and how we see it, and then the truth of what it is. Now that truth is a whole nother, we've spoken about it, but we didn't explicitly call it out.
And the truth is, nothing's perfect. Perfect means it can't be done any better. There's
Right.
always somebody who can do it better.
That's right. And we don't have to make it personal.
Exactly.
Which then surrenders, like, oh, we don't have to judge what other people say. We don't have to judge ourselves because they're not judging us anymore. Oh, I just feel the release of that.
Mm.
Yeah, it's because we all understand things intellectually, not by experience, right? So like if we're doing judgment, it's because we, still part of us know that we're not one.
Mm.
Right? Because I'm following this guy. Well, I'm doing a little program. It's called the Spark. And he's about spell breaking. And then there's three concept. All is one, everything is energy, and you create your reality. Although he knew that for a long time, that he thought, he actually experienced it. And when you experience it, you live it.
I just want to acknowledge that for myself, when you said if we're judging, we're not acknowledging that we're one. That's a lot to appreciate right there. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And just because I wouldn't climb Mount Everest, I love to hear the story told by somebody who actually climbed it. Get their perspective of the hardships and what they experienced during their climb. I just have that logic. I wouldn't go over 6,000 meters because I don't want to go where my body's actually dying. It's fighting to survive. But that's my logic.
So maybe, just maybe, a good question to ask for your next interaction, Indra, might be like, what are you curious about?
Ooh, that's a great one.
See, that removes all the attachment.
Yeah, curiosity is a great thing.
Being curious doesn't mean you need to engage.
Nope. Even some car fanatics don't even have a driver's license. They don't like driving cars, but they really enjoy looking at them. Can't remember where I saw it, but the kid would much rather walk around the parking lot looking at all the different cars that he wanted to go into the store and look at what they had in the store. So the dad stayed outside and they walked around looking at cars. And he looked at everything from tires to, what do you call it, the license plate, everything. Everything he really enjoyed.
Mm.
And his mom would buy him a toy car and he wasn't interested.
I think what I'm going to take from this morning is just to be. And it will help me through all the different levels of experience that I have in a day.
Just to be and allow other people to just be what they are. Keeps you out of conflict.
Yes.
Of me, you need to see life this way, not that way. Oh,
yes. All of that.
yeah.
Yeah,
This
become a curious judge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
That's a lovely phrase.
Yep.
Thank you so much, guys. This was a wonderful conversation this morning, and for the silence too. Enjoy your days.
You have a pleasant
Yeah, you
day.
too.
Bye.
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 I'll take my leave as well. It's been a
Right.
wonderful, appetizing morning.
Bye,
It's
Central.
like taking
Bye,
an
Central.
awesome vitamin drink, getting invigorated. Thank you. Peace.
Love and
Bye,
hugs.
Central.
Bye-bye. Great conversation we had today.
Yes, it was, Heinz. Thank you.
Lots of perspective.
Yeah, and you can only see a person for who they are if you let them be who they are.
Yeah, let them show you who they are. No need to tell them who they are. They know. Well, you both have a pleasant day. Love and hugs.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye, Jesse.
Bye, Heinz.
Bye, Heinz.
Bye, Pascal.
Bye.